Hi, everyone. I'm Kendall Shahan, the Bohemian Tarot Girl, and this is my co host, Amy. Amy, you want to give a shout out?
Hi, I'm Amy Amonette. I'm an intuitive energy coach and moon circle leader. And we are here to kind of go over the upcoming energy and see what we can expect and how we can align with it better.
Yeah. And this is our moon forecast video. It's for the new moon in Virgo in September of 2021. Please make sure to like our video if you enjoy what we do, and get connected with us online on Instagram, Bohemian Tarot Girl, or Amy. You're at
Wise
White
moon
Moon
energy.
Energy on Facebook.
Mhm.
So, well, let's jump in and let's talk about this kind of wrap up energy that we've come through kind of this crazy portal energy for the summer, and here we are coming into September, right? It feels like it snuck up on me. I feel like we just had that full moon too, like
We did.
I was like,
And if you've been following our videos, you probably have seen kind of the progression of energy. If this is new to you, I would suggest at least going back to the full moon video, because that talked a lot about kind of the current energy, how things have been, like, time has been really warped, how we just went through that portal that was going to fast track a lot of things. And that's all leading up to this energy that's coming in. I always talk about how there's so many synchronicities with the way the planets and the astrology and the energy happens. Like, it's really hard when you start studying it to think that it's all just kind of a random occurrence. Like, there's kind of this divine order that happens with how
mhm,
this energy is kind of brought to us. And then it's up to us to kind of figure out how to best navigate it and work with it and use it to affect our lives in a positive way instead of just kind of randomly
yeah,
going through the chaos and wondering what the heck is happening.
being stressed out
So,
about stuff we're just
yeah.
being asked to look at and change. So
uh There's been, I mean, because this year there's has been a lot of portal energy, a lot of fast tracked change. So much. I'm seeing it within my own life, but also, I pay attention to what's happening with people close to me
mhm,
and seeing how this energy is affecting them too. And so many people I know, it's like in the last month, their whole life has kind of pivoted in this different direction from where they thought it was going.
yeah.
And it's really kind of crazy. Like, but it's all of this, like, warp speed to kind of put you on the path that is for your highest good.
Yeah.
So
So let's talk about this energy. How are
this
you?
moon.
I know. How are you feeling about this new moon?
I remember kind of tapping into it a little bit when we talked last. And I believe I said in that video that it's going to be a really welcome grounding energy that comes in with Virgo, because Virgo is an earth energy. It has this kind of element that anchors us into the physical reality a little bit better. It's also, Virgo, it has this kind of sense of um, duty and responsibility that comes with it. There's a right way to do things. If
Mhm.
you've ever been really close with a Virgo, you know that they kind of have their checklist and their expectations for themselves. And there's a sense of order that comes. And so some of that energy is kind of being brought in now and giving us more, some of the elements that we need to more stabilize in our environment, because we've been all over the place this last summer.
I felt.
so, so this moon is happening on September 6th, at 5:52 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So adjust that accordingly to wherever you are in the world. Um, and a new moon happens when the sun and the moon are at the same place in the sky. And so this is happening. Sun and the moon are coming together in Virgo, at 14 degrees. And so if you, um, are someone who likes to look at your personal chart to kind of see where that is going to affect you, look at where 14 degrees Virgo is for you and look at the house that's in, and that will give you an idea of which part of your life might be most influenced with this particular moon. We also, talk about cycles of moons. Like we always talk about the new moon and the full moon, of course, on here. But there's always a cycle that happens. So the energy that's coming in, it's an energy that'll last 3 days. So if you want to set intentions for this moon, which I highly recommend, and we can talk about that a little bit later, but it's like a 3-day energy. You don't have to be exact or precise with doing it on that day. You have a little bit of room on either side of the moon to do that. And the cycles for moons, sometimes it's a 2-week cycle from new moon to full moon. Sometimes it'll be from new moon to next month's new moon. And sometimes it'll be, a full year from Virgo new moon now to Virgo new moon next year.
Mhm.
And also when I was thinking about this one, I really got this kind of like message to pay attention to what happens between now and the Virgo full moon, which will happen in, I believe, February. It happens in
Yeah.
Pisces season. So there's like a 6-month period that's going to be very influential with whatever starts right now.
Interesting. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of good aspects to this moon because it's never about just the moon.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. There's always something else that's coming in and another planet. And then each planet has their own energies that they come with it, and how they are interacting with the moon can really change the energy around. And sometimes, like last time, weren't there a lot of squares?
Yes.
There were a lot of squares,
Yeah.
and squares are tense energies that happen. This moon, now that things have shifted signs a little bit, a lot of the things that were squaring are now in trines. And a trine is it means that the planets are in the same element. So we have some planets, major planets, that are in earth signs. We have Pluto and Capricorn, and we also have Taurus and Uranus, or Uranus and Taurus. And so that's giving some really good, helping, supportive energy to what is coming in with this moon. And what that means for this is that whatever is being brought into your life right now, it may be in the beginning stages, but it has a very significant long-term effect for whatever it is that you are moving towards or building or creating in your life currently. And you don't even need to know what that is. I think a lot of people, especially, were kind of like wandering around lost, going, I don't have all the pieces and I don't have all the information and I don't know what this is supposed to look like. And there's so much that's happening behind the scenes, and so much that's transitioning and changing, especially with Uranus and Taurus right now. That's been a huge change element.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's a 7 new energy. So that's something that can take some time to fully like see the full manifestation of that.
Mhm.
So right now, even if you have no idea where you're going or no idea what these changes are that are happening for you, or you may during this next couple of weeks or month get like this sudden insight.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling, is that
And
there's
have
gonna be
these
like a
pieces
rapid.
suddenly like all come together that you had no idea were even possible for you. um it's going to be very important and transitional, um and substantial, and it's going to have a good solid foundation. So there's so much.
Yeah. No, I just, when you were talking about that, it was very much that's what I had coming up to me, was that, you're going to see this rapid transition of pieces in your life, depending on probably where it's aspecting you, or what you've been working on. and then you're going to see these sudden changes. You just kind of have to like roll with it, embrace it, because it's going to go with what the universe wants for you, and really relying on that, your intuition, and not second guessing yourself. Don't let some
Mhm.
of your fears get in your way to stop you. I would just say move
Yes.
forward. Don't limit yourself. So,
No.
whoop, somebody's calling Amy.
I'll just turn that off.
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's like, sorry, that totally distracted my train of thought. I was losing it. But I mean, through what we've try and do when we get together and talk about these videos is really help you to um, kind of recognize your own intuition
Yeah.
and follow that and follow your gut instincts, because your subconscious and your higher self and your support team on the other side, your guides, your angels, they all are like pulling for you. And sometimes we can get really stuck in our minds, and especially Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is all about communication and mental stuff. And we don't usually think about that with Virgo, because it is an earth sign, and Mercury also rules Gemini. So that's a completely different energy to work with. But what can happen sometimes with Virgo energy is that you can get caught up in the details. And it's very easy to become really critical and feel like things need to be perfect or that they need to be done a certain way. And so part of this moon is being able to let go of some of those more mental aspects and really try and dive more into the intuitive parts of Virgo, which has to do, I mean, Virgo is um, kind of, I think of Virgo as being like the maiden
Hmm.
of, like the maiden mother crone. It is like it is goddess energy. It's this, new life, this kind of beauty that comes in with it, and this element of that there is beauty in perfection and beauty in routine and beauty in having kind of like, I'm totally forgetting the word, um, kind of a check, I don't want to say checklist, but there is beauty in order
Yep.
and in the way things progress naturally, and not skipping ahead, but doing all the right steps in the right order. Um, and so I think it's a good place to kind of like take back some of your criticism, especially of yourself and where you're at in your life if you're not where you want to be, and kind of just follow the steps and go to the thing that feels right in the moment. What is it from the movie Frozen 2? It was like, just do the next right thing.
Hmm.
I feel like that's a very key element right now. You may not see the whole picture at the moment,
Yeah.
but you just do the next right thing and you'll eventually get there. Um, we also have, like, just to go into even further with these planets, um, we do have some Libra energy that's coming in, because that's
Oh,
coming up. And Libra is about balance and fairness. And the planets that are in Libra are Venus and Mercury. And those are the closer planets and the ones that transition the fastest. And so they kind of affect our immediate environment the most. And with them being in Libra, and Libra is ruled by Venus,
hmm.
so it has to do a lot with partnerships, communication.
Relationship.
Um, you may find that the people that you have in your life shift a little bit. You may find that people show up who are meant to be part of your journey. You may find who you work with is really important. Your personal relationships, your romantic relationships. There also may be some really pivotal conversations that
Mhm.
are going to be happening in the next couple of months, because Mercury is going retrograde, which we all love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Mercury is going to be retrograde in Libra, and it's going to be in the sign of Libra that whole time. It's not transitioning back into Virgo at all. So it's all about communicating and your relationships and how you set your boundaries and how you create situations with people that are beneficial for both and not just for yourself.
Yeah. No, I think that's really key is that when you look at the relationship side of this energy that we're coming into, is being able to express yourself, have those kind of hard conversations, but not doing it in a way that, hurts other people. And really just making sure that the people in your general sphere who are supporting you are in alignment with you. And part of that is having open communication. I can't tell you how important that is.
Oh gosh.
You know,
Yeah.
if you're not with somebody who's willing to like be open and truthful and to hear you and, you know, listen to, what your fears or, anything that you have going on in your life, it's can be detrimental to your relationship. So even opening those lines of communication is going to be key for you to grow.
Absolutely. And even sometimes we think we're communicating something effectively and we're not really communicating it in a way that the other person can hear. And so I think it's really important right now to try and pay attention to how you are coming across, because maybe what you think you're saying isn't really what you're saying.
Mhm.
Or in a way that the other person is able to
Okay.
understand and take it in.
Yeah.
um and hopefully, they are able to be receptive, but sometimes that just might take some extra help on your part if you really want to get the message across. One of the things that kind of popped up for this is that you don't have to respond to things right away. Like, this is an energy where you can kind of step back and say, I really want to take my time with this. And so I respond appropriately, or that what I say is what I really mean, instead of just
Yeah.
like jumping into something really fast
Verbal
without
vomit.
giving it like the time to figure out how to best approach. Um, so,
Definitely. I mean, my nephew has, talked to me about him and his partner communicating. And I always recommend doing, if you don't feel like you're being heard, write it out and share with your partner in that fashion. Sometimes people get stressed out and feel like they're being attacked in certain situations, and doing it in a written format allows people to take time, digest it, come back, reread it, and really understand, the key pieces. I was reading a text message the other day and I was like, well, this is totally negative. And then I reread it and I was like, oh, it's not. I just missed that.
I've done that.
That
I've done that
one
so
small
many
piece.
times.
Yeah.
Because we always see it through our own lens first, and how we would normally interpret those words, especially through text or something. Like,
Yeah.
things get lost in translation so much. And so it's good to also ask for clarification on things. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, okay, well, what did you mean by this? Or
100%. No, I think that's key for this, this upcoming month, even is just to make sure that, how you're communicating and how, making sure that whoever's receiving it, like you said, is receiving it in the fashion that it's really meant to be heard. Um, don't let that stop you, because if not,
oh,
I mean,
yeah. So when I was, I when I sit down to kind of like try and assess all of these planets and the information that's coming in, um, like, I sat down today and I was like, I don't even know what we're going to talk about. And that usually gives me so much anxiety. At least it used to at the beginning of these videos, because it happens more time than not. I have a busy life. I'm not sitting here analyzing the moon every second.
no, I do not have
I
time
mean,
either.
I love astrology, but it's not like my focal point every day. And so I woke up this morning and I was like, I don't even know what to talk about. Like, And what I found from doing these videos is that it doesn't matter if I know or not, like something's going to come and some message is going to be there, and
Mhm.
hopefully it's the right one. And I've just learned to trust that. And I think that goes along with this Virgo energy, is that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know the right thing to do or say or look a certain way or fit into this box that you think is what everybody wants you to be, that is right. You just have to show up, be open, and be authentic. Um, and so as I was started writing notes, it was like all of a sudden I got this image in my head for this energy of kind of the Wizard of Oz. Um, and I'm going to explain that a little bit because like Wizard of Oz is kind of weird, but it started off, I got this like picture of a tornado of all things. And I was like, okay, so we have been in this whirlwind and we've been in this tornado and we've been going around, and we've had this portal energy that kind of like picked us up and dropped us off in like this new place. Um, and it doesn't look anything like it's supposed to. We don't we don't know what it's going to look like. We just know that where we were is not where we are now, and we're going to have to do something with that. And so as this like whole analogy was coming into my head, um it's giving us this energy's coming in and it's giving us a sense of grounding. We are now back on solid ground. And there's a path and we don't know where it goes, but you just have to follow it one step at a time. And the right tools will be there that you will need to get to where you're going. And the right people are going to show up to help you along the way. And through that process of just kind of putting one foot in front of the other, um, you're going to be able to kind of reclaim your power, or at least realize your own power, because a lot of people don't necessarily believe or understand the scale of their own power to affect their own life. Um, and you're going to like kind of get a better sense of yourself and what you want. And ultimately, like this whole journey that we've been going through is leading you back home to yourself, to what feels like home for you, to what feels true for you, to what feels most authentic. Um, and so it's just, little matter of trust right now, and to follow the steps, like
Mhm.
the next right thing. So that
Okay,
was my message.
nice. I like it. Do you want to talk while I sit here and pull a card and talk about the journal prompts that are coming up?
um, the journal prompts will be in the September moon guide, which you can find at bohemiantarotgirl.com. You can pull out the journal. There'll be the whole guidebook. It'll have journal prompts. It'll have tarot spreads that will help for the different moons. I am still working on putting journal prompts together, but they usually, hopefully, correlate with what we've talked about in these videos. Um, a lot of it's probably going to be on what feels right in the moment or what you feel you need in order to take that next step. Um, New moons are an energy of setting intentions and putting out into the universe what it is you want to bring into your life. When we talk about setting intentions, we usually look at kind of looking at your own personal life and what you want to bring into it, without having to know how. So this is really good energy for that. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to seem practical. It doesn't have to um, be something that you feel is attainable to you right now. It's just something that you feel in your soul that you want to create in your life. And you're, by doing that, especially at the new moon, because the new moon has an energy where it goes from dark to being full. And as it grows, that allows the energy of your intentions to grow with it. And
Mhm.
so when we create these intentions, it's kind of like sending out a message into the universe and creating that um, spark and alignment, and uh, creating a space for it to be brought in. So it's a conversation with the universe as to like, okay, this is what I am asking for, and this is what I want. And then we kind of let it go. I know some people, I know put them up somewhere.
Yeah.
And you can totally do that. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's whatever
Yeah.
works for
There's
you.
no
And I
right
don't,
or wrong.
yeah, there is no right or wrong.
Um, and then just kind of creating some space and allowing it to be brought in for you. And not holding any expectation as to how that's going to happen or what that's going to look like. I usually say when you're setting intentions, don't be too detailed, or at least say something along the lines of this or better.
Mhm.
Because if you keep it too specific, you're almost limiting it to what you think you want and not necessarily what's best for you.
Yeah. No, I like that. And, obviously I'm different. I keep it with me. But what I was thinking is I always read it in a positive fashion. I don't sit there and like dwell on like, darn it, this hasn't happened yet, which I could totally see some of you out there, reading through your list and going, hasn't happened. So if you're like that, totally go with Amy's route where you just let it go, come back to it at a later date and go, oh my gosh, that really happened. That really
Yeah.
manifested in my life. So,
And also, we talked a couple moons ago about how the energy of the moons had been happening, where it entered a sign, and then we would have the full moon where we would have to release, and then we would enter the new moon. Well, because we had two full moons in Aquarius last month, we're now back to where we enter a sign and we have a new moon, and then we have a full moon. So it's almost like the energy is kind of back on track to how it normally seems to flow. So just a side note, I it makes me feel better when it's moving in the right. Maybe that's just the Virgo right now
oh yeah,
talking.
that's totally.
Yeah, weird things.
Mhm.
I was joking around yesterday. I put on my page because I suddenly had like the I started cleaning my house, which then involved like organizing everything, and then moving furniture and sweeping and mopping under furniture. And it became like a whole big day long
Wow.
process, removing area rugs. Like, I don't even know
Yeah.
what got into me. I hate cleaning. I do it,
Mhm.
but I do not usually spend a whole day making that my like life's mission to put everything in its place. So I, Virgo,
It must be
that's
the Virgo energy. Yeah.
what card do we have?
The lover's card,
Oh,
which I totally love, obviously, because
yeah.
that's like that's you could look at it from like a relationship aspect too with everyone. It's a very like unified soul connection, but also with yourself. So there's that self-love, there's your connection to the people around you, your relationships, and really bringing in, if you're maybe looking for love, this seems like it's some good energy to find people that really connect with you on that soul level that you can have a prolonged relationship with, and they're going to be on the right path with you. I think that's really key for a lot of people right now, is making sure your partner that you're with really is on the path with you, and you're not conflicting in a lot of ways. And there's the opportunity obviously at this time to reevaluate how you communicate. And so if you're struggling with your partner, look at your communication. So
Mhm. And I would suggest, with Mercury getting ready to go retrograde, like if you want to start a new relationship, do it before Mercury goes retrograde.
yep.
There is a theory,
Good point.
an energetic theory, that things that begin in retrograde do not last, um, because you're not getting the whole picture.
Yeah.
There's something that you're not seeing clearly or being told that is true. Um, so do it before September 25th. If you meet someone, that's fine. Just take your time with it. And then, professional love after Mercury
Yeah,
retrograde.
feel that afterwards.
And then we also always joke around with Mercury retrograde, like that is also the prime time when past lovers come back
Oh yeah.
and want to communicate. So just be aware of that also. Sometimes that can be good because it gives you a chance to resolve things or reconnect in a more positive way if you have unfinished business. But yeah.
Learn from your past communication with them.
Yes. I mean, in some cases, having a past person come back can work, but in most cases, what is it they say that like they're
Your past is
ex
your
for a
past.
reason?
Yeah, 100%. I totally roll with that mentality.
Yeah.
It's in the past, let it go. So, well, thank you everybody for joining us. We super appreciate it. We hope you have a great new moon. Look for the journal prompts coming up. We'll get those posted for you as soon as we can. We're both running really behind on all of our stuff. So we're trying.
I don't know where August went.
I know, neither do I. I'm like, it's September. So, well, thank you everyone. Have a great day.